Hello, I'm Ward Brickner, and welcome to Smart Money. I'm here with my business partner, Michael Palazzolo, and we come to you live from Collaborate Space. And today, behind the glass, helping us sound looking great, is Chris Gannum.
That's a big job, by the way. Helping us look great.
I understand. I understand.
So kudos to Chris Gannum.
That's why we hire talent.
Exactly.
Hey, look, today is going to be a really interesting topic, and it's a topic that is going to affect everybody. And it's increasing numbers over the years, and that is retirees. Last year, we had approximately, I think, 3.4 million people turning 65. Yep. This year is going to be 4.5 million people turning 65. And one of the biggest issues, Michael, that we see in our practice is people are lost. They don't know what to do when they're retired as far as income.
Yeah, people basically need a roadmap. And most people don't have a roadmap, just put money in the markets via 401k plans, etc., and have no plan and are just on autopilot. And that works when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s possibly. But when you are in the age of retirement and you're getting close to that period of time where you're going to exit stage right, you need a game plan. And you need to work with people who can formulate that game plan for you and then execute it. And that's exactly what we do, Ward and I. We've been doing this for over 35 collective years. And our partnership, Fortress Financial, provides just that. And today we're going to talk about a platform that you can maybe kick off a little bit, and we can talk about how we execute that plan, how we formulate the plan, and then how we execute it.
Yeah, well, what happens is that most people are in accumulation portfolios their whole life.
Right.
And then there comes a point in time when the strategy needs to change from accumulation to distribution. And there are different strategies that have to be looked at because...
But let me, just 1 second. Most people don't know when that stage is changing from the accumulation to distribution. That's why when they work with us, we can guide them and let them understand when is the right time to make those proper changes.
Well, you've said it twice, guidance.
Right.
And the reason why that's important is because money's emotional. And two or several, actually, Nobel Prize for Economics has been won based on behavioral finance and the emotions that affect the rates of return that people have over the course of time. So by having a game plan, by having a roadmap, it eliminates or it helps to reduce.
That's a great point. The emotion.
Making emotional decisions.
Because the emotional aspect, you're 100% right. That's a great point. The emotional aspect most times prohibits the client from achieving the goals they want to get to. They all have that initial plan when they first start out, and then the markets can be volatile, and they can either get drunk with success or be stuck in fear and panic when the markets go down. And then the emotions take over, and the initial game plan or the initial roadmap is totally thrown to the side.
It's again,
and that's not a good thing. So the emotional aspect is a great point.
It's even in the accumulation phase, you have emotional things that hold you back from investing perhaps when you should. The market makes these parabolic moves up, and a lot of people are not involved. We could get into the statistics on how many days the market is up versus the market is down, and you have to be in it to win it and all that kind of stuff. But in retirement, you have three major risks that you need to guard yourself against or to try to minimize the effects of. And that is, one, inflation risk. Recently, we all got a really good dose of what that looks like as far as housing, cost of food, insurance is up 30-40% here at the end of 24. So we have inflation risk. We have longevity risk. We all know people. Our fastest growing segment of our book is over 80. My mom's 97.
Yeah.
So the risk of outliving your money is very real today. And then also the other risk is picking the wrong time to retire. Look at the people that retired in '07. The market was at a high of 2000. What was it? 14,000 a Dow. And then we watched, over the next 18 months, the stock market drops to 6,000.
Yeah.
So how do we protect our clients from picking the wrong time to retire, not having enough as far as, for inflationary and the longevity risk? So there are ways of structuring the portfolio that will help minimize and in some cases, eliminate those risks. But people don't have a roadmap. They spend more time planning their vacation. I think I read something where they spend, on average,
it's true,
7 minutes a year on long-term planning. And it's
because why people do that. Because I'll tell you.
Well, I know why.
Yeah. Well,
I live life. I understand.
Yeah. Well, people don't plan on things if they don't understand. If they don't have an understanding of what to do and what to plan for, and they don't have, like, let's say, how do I phrase this? Like a financial coach, basically, to educate them and to draw all this out of them, then they're going to just be going along on their merrily way. Most people don't have an understanding of the markets, and they really don't even have an understanding of what they're trying to achieve. Oh, I just want to make money and I don't want to take on much risk. I hear that. We hear that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we
hear it all the time.
Look, being too conservative can be financial suicide. You need a rate of return of 6%, but you're afraid of the market, so you only want to invest in things that are 4%. You're guaranteed to lose money. So the income strategies that we put together at Fortress Financial is based on a program called the Income for Life model. And the Income for Life model takes into account those three major risks that every retiree faces, regardless of income range. People think, well, if I had, $2 million, I'm fine. No, or $5 million, I'm fine. It really, what it comes down to is, do you have enough money? What are your expenses?
Right. Could 5 million may be enough for some, but for others, it may not.
It depends on how you live.
Right, exactly.
And the number one, the glazed look that I get when I ask people in our meetings, when we do exploratory meetings, is, what are your expenses? And people don't know.
No.
And they feel embarrassed about it. They go, I really don't know.
But most don't.
And most don't know.
Most don't, yeah.
And they don't even know how to project that in retirement.
Right.
So we help organize people of all wealth ranges have a good understanding of what your expenses are and what your assets are, and then put a projection on that and show people how to structure your finances so you can have our goal for everybody. If I could wave a magic wand, and for you too, for that matter, is to have guaranteed inflation-adjusted income throughout retirement. So there are ways of strategizing and doing that by positioning conservative in the beginning, having your investments on the end.
You want the long term and to act in your favor by holding stocks long term. And that's
100%.
Right. And so the 5-step process that we'll get into will explain how investing in. Look, the stock market works very, very well if you have the goal of holding onto good companies long term. If you're looking to hold a stock for a year or two and you try to get the get rich quick scheme, it's not going to work for you. You have to be a long-term investor in great stocks. And this platform, the way we have it set up in retirement for folks, allows the investors to have the short-term income goals that can be reached that we can execute. But on the other hand, it also has the stocks that you can essentially hold long-term where you can get those benefits. Where you're not forced to sell something in a 2 or 3 year time frame.
And that plays
and that's the whole key to investing in the stock market.
And it is, in other words, what you're saying is you need to have liquidity.
Right.
You need to have liquidity in the first 5 and 10 years, because what if you pick the wrong time? Because we don't understand what's going to happen.
Look at the people that reached the poor people that reached COVID, and also we were there. It's this whole September 11th,
0809.
0809. If people retired, unfortunately, in those years, it's a problem. And most people had to go back to work
or delay or reduce because they saw their
or reduce.
They saw their IRAs go, drop 60%. So we do not want our clients, if we can help it, we do not want our clients to be market dependent on their retirement income because there's just so many different things that can affect the market, unforeseen things. So we want to minimize the effects of the unknown by not relying on that income or that chunk of money to provide the income.
Right.
So market things, we have set longer term, we have shorter term liquidity. Again, it's structure, because there's a lot of questions that have to be answered.
Let's just do this. Let's do an exercise. And obviously, I know the exercise, but we're just for the audience as an educational piece. Client walks into our office, and I sit down with us, basically, or Chris sits down with us. And what's the first process is the emotional aspect, right? We wanted the short-term process, step one of let's describe step one of this process.
Well, step one, after we've had our initial, I would say to bring in statements.
Exactly.
And to gain an understanding, I want you to go through your checkbook. I want you to look at all your expenses.
Right. This way they find out what their expenses are, and they have what we normally do is we'll sit down with the client and we'll let you folks know exactly what's needed. We'll give you homework, so to speak, right? We'll give you homework, so to speak, where you have all your information. It's all on paper, pen to paper. You come into the office, and then and we can put the roadmap together for you with the information that's provided.
And everything is customized.
Right.
We're going to customize because
everybody's expenses are different.
Yeah.
And
what you need versus what Chris needs versus what there might be special needs. There might be a guardianship. There might be things that you want to fund in the future versus, what everyone is different.
The person who's let's say 63 and wants to retire at 66, they should get down to our office right away because we can start implementing the plan and have them in place. Because when they do retire at 65, you hit the ground running. It's important to you have to plan. You just have to plan.
We have a client that we're working with, and her husband had passed, and she works and does well for herself. Makes about $200 a year. She has about $900,000 in assets. She doesn't need the money right now, so she's 58 years old. But we are now starting to put into place the game plan that will provide the income that she needs when she wants to retire. But also, we're going to be using the income from the portfolio right now to pay for long-term care insurance.
Right.
I just reading an article. They said that in the next several years, 70% of the people are going to need some kind of long-term care policy, which is staggering to me. And I think that's because we're all living longer, so we're going to be looking at that component because she lives by herself, and doesn't want to rely on her children to take care of her. So there's a lot of things that go into this income model that we do because there are other things that we have to incorporate, not just income, protection.
So we ascertain all the information, we gather the information, and there's five buckets that we put the money invested in. So the first bucket would be short-term,
5 years.
5 year.
Each bucket's 5 years, call it.
Exactly. Short-term maturities, 5 for the first bucket.
Yes, short liquidity.
Right.
Safe money.
Yeah. CD.
Sleep at night. You don't have to.
Could be a short-term annuity.
Could be a short-term annuity. Could be cash. It could be a lot of things.
Right.
But it's going to be very secure.
Right.
All right. The next bucket. And again, this all depends upon who the client is, their risk tolerance, their time frame, their investment experience. We're
just talking about a generic format.
It's just a framework.
Exactly.
Right now, but we look at 5-year increments, and the longer the increment, the longer the time frame, the more risk, because you can afford to take more risk.
And that's where the equities, the stocks would be in the fifth bucket. That's for long-term growth. That's for 15 plus years out.
So our clients were not calling us concerned, to be quite honest. I think I had 1 or 2 out of 479 families that we help I think I had one or two call during the times that the market was going down because they were concerned.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it brings a tremendous amount of comfort in knowing what the game plan is. Right. It brings comfort. So you're not making these emotional decisions.
Yeah.
So as Michael was saying, you come in, you have an assessment of all your assets in front of you as far as statements are concerned. We gain an understanding of what your expenses are. If you're not tracking your expenses, I highly recommend that you go out and you purchase one of the many different type of services, a Quicken or what have you. You have to track every dollar. You have to know what every dollar is doing at every time, and you have to assign a job to every dollar. Otherwise, those dollars, because at the end of the month you go, where all the money go?
Right.
So take control, and it's an intimidating process. So take control, find out what your expenses are.
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror.
People would rather have root canal than find out what their expenses are.
Well, it's hard to look in the mirror sometimes.
Though I know a dentist right now would be very angry with me for saying that. She watched one of our videos. I made reference. I said, going to the attorney's like going to the dentist. And she saw me and she hit me. She's like, they're not going to me. I'm not Dr. Payne. She said, stop saying it. But you get the point, But so we find out what the expenses are.
Right.
We find out who that person is. What is it that they're trying to do for their family, for themselves? It might be just themselves.
Okay. So bucket two, bucket one, bucket two
tends to be a little more aggressive, maybe in the corporate bond area or in the fixed income area.
Right.
So we're covering the first 10 years are relatively secure
and conservative. Exactly.
And then the next three buckets we're talking
more growth oriented.
More growth oriented. So if the market happens to go down,
you have time on your side at that point.
Because there hasn't been, according to history, the 10-year, 20-year, 10-year, 15 and 20-year rolling time frame in the market. I don't think the market's ever
been down.
Negative.
No.
So we're trying to use the law of averages to our advantage.
Do you know what's really hurtful? Having information at one's fingertips could be very helpful, but it also can be a detriment because we all have so much information, and CNBC is constantly on, and it turns the market into a short-term endeavor because it's more about trading, and the market's up one day 200 points, next day it's down 200 points.
A lot of noise.
Yeah, it's a lot of noise, and it's for people who don't have an understanding and do not have a roadmap. You can easily get lost. And that's when emotion comes into play because you have all this information in front of you. And that's why it's so important if you have a roadmap and you adhere to that roadmap by understanding what you're in and why you're in certain products, then all this information, all the stimulus is coming at you, you're going to be able to deflect it off and stay on that path. And to be honest, that's what we provide. It's not just about pulling the lever and making the proper investment. I mean, that's the easy part, to be honest. I mean, you can go anywhere for that. It's a product. The most important thing is the coaching, is the hand-holding, and is the explanation, and the education of how the markets work and understanding your investment DNA and providing that service for you with the information you give us. That's it. It's simple, and that's what we do. And this product allows our clients to have a roadmap, and it allows us to do the proper job for you.
And I think having that working roadmap and a working relationship with a professional provides the best chance of achieving those long-term goals.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do need to have someone to say it's okay. And sometimes, you know what, you do need to step aside, though. There are times when you need to take a step aside and take a look at things. But by having the proper structure, you have the liquidity to keep you, and you have your safe at night money, in the bank, and you have all these different components working for you. So it's not just one thing, but there's a couple of other things that we help incorporate in our clients' financial thinking that brings peace, to their lives in regards to money, because money is very emotional. But in any event, so what type of investments, do you what type of stocks, what type of bonds, what type of, those are things that we get into to the nitty gritty with the client based on who they are as a person
and their interests. Some people have an interest in technology, or they have an interest in healthcare, and there's a lot of different equities and stocks, what have you, that we can offer. Depending on the person's interest. It's really a simple, guys, it's really a simple game. It's just, you need to have the right people working with you. That's it. It's not hard. You just need the right.
Well, for us, it's easy, Michael.
No.
For 35.
When I say simple, it even becomes a simple partnership on the client's end also, because we're able to communicate and break it down and simplify it. And then when we do that, the relationship becomes very simple and the execution becomes very simple. And everything is confusing when you're not educated. That's it. When you're educated about any topic, life becomes easier. That subject becomes easier.
Well,
that's it.
With people that don't have a game plan, I've been hearing this lately. I don't know why. A quote from Mike Tyson. What does he say? Everyone's got a game plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And the markets are rocking and rolling. Everything's beautiful until 08 happens, or a shutdown of the economy happens.
And you get punched. You get punched in the mouth.
And you get punched in the face. And you need to have the proper guidance. You need to have the proper structure. You have to look. No one can anticipate what's coming next.
No.
Who knows what's coming next? Be it good or bad. We see some things in the market that we're very excited about going forward. A tremendous opportunity in artificial intelligence right now. A lot of interesting things going on. A lot of volatility going on. So how do you play this in retirement? How does this incorporate into your overall plan? A lot of questions. So we help people with those questions. We help formulate a customized game plan. The income for life model. Look, if you're interested in having a better understanding, and we're only touching the surface of this model, but if you have if you would like to gain a clearer and better understanding of what this model is, we're going to have a QR code at the end of the video. Please scan that QR code, drop us your information, and be more than happy to send out. There's a wonderful 5-minute video that we have on this, as well as some other marketing material that we can send you, but to set up a consultation.
If you're the person sitting watching this podcast right now, and you're just about retiring, or you just retired, and you don't have any idea of how to invest those dollars in retirement, you have two choices. You can stay idle, and just let things happen and just ignore things, which is not a smart way of going about investing. Or you can give us a call. We can sit down and talk with you and provide, again, the roadmap that you need. That's it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think you folks, I think we all need roadmaps. We all need to have a point of where we want to try to be at a certain time frame, and we can provide that for you. So that's it. That's it. You can call us. It's an easy transfer. You can transfer your 401k. So I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can transfer your 401k. We can we can transfer into an IRA account that we set up at our firm, and get you started, and then educate you and give you comfort.
We just received a client, speaking to what you're just mentioning. She actually has a nice sized portfolio, over $3 million, but she realizes that at 58 years old, she's been retired. She hasn't worked in a while, so she's not working. But she realizes that
she's getting income from.
She's getting income. She realized she has no game plan, and if 40% of her income comes from one position.
One position, right?
So you may have a lot of money and think everything's fine, but you have risk inside the portfolio that you're perhaps not aware of. Now, I'm thankful that she's aware of that. I was going to point that out. 40% of your income comes from one stock.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So there are strategies that we're putting together because they're long-term positions. Her cost basis is like $1. So everything she sells is long-term capital gains. So there's tax strategies that we're formalizing with her CPA on how to start to move her away from that. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that, we can uncover when people come in, for the consultation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But recognizing the point is recognizing your need.
Right.
And she recognized her need. She didn't know what it was, but she just realized that, I think at this stage in the game, I've kind of let it go. I've never looked at it, but now I think I need a game plan. So this is what we're doing. And we're going to
the smart lady.
Hey, I like to think so.
Yeah.
You know what? It's
absolutely.
a referral. Her brother is with us. Her other brother is with us. So it's a testament to what we're talking about today.
Right.
People like it. They're comfortable with it. It makes sense. It's easy to understand. And the plan that we give you, look, we've been through, I don't know how many different planning softwares. 50 pages, 80 pages, 100 pages. It's enough to just make you freeze when you see all that kind of stuff.
Right.
This is like 2 pages, 3 pages.
Yeah.
It's very easy to understand.
It's a simple approach. Simple approach.
So anyhow, if you need some guidance, you need some help, you have further questions, please, again, look at the QR code, scan it, give us a call. We'll reach out. However you want to get a hold of us, we're here to help. I'd be more than happy to do a consultation, free consultation, to get a better understanding of how we might be able to help you formulate, an investment strategy for yourself and your family. We really appreciate your time.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you.